Ground floor, the façade and the courtyard. In the early 60s of the 16th century, the University of Bologna was in competition with the new Italian and foreign universities, so Pope Pius IV decided to reorganize and restore its prestige. He decided to assemble the schools of the legisti, civil law and canon law, and those of artists, philosophy, medicine, mathematics, physical and natural science into a single seat. Until then, the two schools were housed in different places of the city. The building of the new schools, or Archiginnasio, as it was called with a classical term, was rapidly built in a year and a half, and it was inaugurated on the 21st October 1563. The Bolognese architect Antonio Morandi, known as Terribilia, created a façade on 2 floors with a porch, which mirrors the typical features of the local architecture, also for the materials used, which are terracotta and sandstone. The palace is built in an irregular space and develops mainly horizontally, facing Piazza Galvani and the left side of the Basilica of San Petronio. The Archiginnasio is one of the major urban renewal projects of the second half of the 16th century. The Fountain of Neptune, realized in 1564, the Hospital of Death, built in 1565, and Palazzo dei Banchi, built between 1565 and 1568, and which closes the eastern side of Maggiore Square, date back to those years. The courtyard with double porch, which is the real fulcrum of the building, is influenced by the architecture of the university boarding schools, of which that of Spain in Bologna is the prototype. It reminds the courtyards of the noble palaces of the city, where sumptuous public ceremonies were held. The courtyard was the scene of numerous events related to the history of study. The most picturesque ceremony was the preparation of the teriaca, a drug obtained by the combination of 50 elements, which served as a panacea against all ills, and in particular against the bite of wild and poisonous animals. The staircases. The interiors of the palace and the 2 large staircases that connect the courtyard to the upper floor are divided between the 2 distinct universitates of legisti, law students and artists. On the left there is the staircase of the artists, with a memorial dedicated to Dr. Venceslao Lazzari. It was painted in 1601 by Leonello Spada, and it represents an ornamentation with a fake boulder with cherubs and allegorical figures. The fresco, now drab and degraded, is an example of that kind of painting with fake scenic architecture that had wide diffusion in Bologna. On the right, there is the staircase of the Legisti, with the monument dedicated to Saint Charles Borromeo, who was the Cardinal Legate of Bologna in the founding years of the Archiginnasio. The fresco, realized between 1610 and 1612, was created by the Bolognese Giovanni Luigi Valesi, and it represents 4 female figures, which are identifiable with faith, hope, charity, and temperance. On the right, Charity offers the breast to 2 hungry children. The coats of arms that serve as backdrops are those of Legisti's councillors in the years 1610 and 1611.